The Thunderdome Arena, a titan of concrete and steel, thousands buzzed within, eager for the night's spectacle. Michael Carpenter stood at the edge of this human sea, his heart hammered a frantic rhythm against his ribs. He joined the flow, an unwilling participant in this macabre waltz. The air throbbed, bass reverberated through the pavement, vibrating up Michael's legs, settling deep in his bones. He felt it like a threat, a promise of the chaos to come. The crowd, a single organism, surged forward. Michael felt the weight of the backpack. Grim contents rested against his spine, tools of a trade he never wanted. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. Tonight, the music masked a darker purpose, and he was the only one who could stop it. "Tickets, please." The words were a bored monotone. The attendant barely looked up from her phone. Another face in the endless stream. Michael fumbled in his pocket. The ticket was crumpled, a testament to his anxiety. His fingers trembled as he offered it up, a pathetic offering to the gods of rock and roll, gods who tonight would be revealed for the imposters they were. Enjoy the show. The words were automatic, empty. The attendant had already moved on. Another soul to be herded, another cog in the machine. The air inside was thick, a miasma of sweat, stale beer, and anticipation. Michael closed his eyes against it. The stench brought back memories, visions of another night in this arena, a night painted in joy and horror, in love and loss. He pushed the memory away. Not now. He had to focus. "You ready for this, babe?" The voice echoed in his mind. "Sarah." Her voice was a phantom, a haunting melody from a life that felt a million miles away. "It's going to be amazing." Her excitement was infectious, a stark contrast to the dread that now sat like a stone in Michael's gut. He opened his eyes. The crowd surged around him, a sea of faces, each one a stranger, or worse, a potential enemy. He scanned them, searching for one face in particular, a face he knew from a grainy photograph, a face that haunted his dreams. The opening act had started. Their music was a cacophony, a frantic beat that echoed the turmoil in Michael's soul. He had to find him, before it was too late, before the music reached its crescendo and unleashed a horror he couldn't even begin to comprehend. One year ago, the Thunderdome had pulsed with a different kind of energy. The air thrummed with anticipation, but it was the sweet anticipation of a long-awaited reunion. The stage glowed under soft lights, and Sarah, his Sarah, stood bathed in its warmth. He could still see her, radiant in her concert black, her violin, a beloved extension of herself. The notes of Tchaikovsky flowed from her fingertips, liquid gold filling every corner of the arena. Michael had sat in the front row, his heart overflowing. Pride swelled in his chest, threatening to burst from his chest. She was brilliant. Her talent, a beacon in the darkness. He had no idea how dark that darkness truly was. Then, a single note, sharp, discordant, like a crack in a perfect mirror. Sarah faltered. A flicker of confusion crossed her face, and the world shattered. The lights flickered. Grotesque shadows danced across the terrified faces of the musicians. A low growl echoed from beneath the stage, growing louder, drowning out the beautiful melody. Panic. Screams ripped through the air. The crowd, moments ago a unified entity, became a raging torrent. People shoved, clawed, desperate to escape. "Sarah!" Michael's voice was lost in the chaos. She stood frozen on stage. Her eyes, wide with terror, met his. He saw the moment the stage gave way, swallowing her whole. He had fought his way towards her, heedless of the danger, but it was too late. He found her amidst the debris. Her violin, once a source of such joy, lay shattered beside her, lifeless, like Sarah. A figure stood at the edge of the destruction, a man in a roadie's uniform, watching, his lips curled into a chilling smile. Then he was gone, leaving Michael alone with his grief, his rage, his vow for vengeance. The music washed over Michael, a tidal wave of sound. He pushed through the crowd, each face blurring into the next. His hand rested on the backpack strap, fingers tracing the outline of a weapon, a constant reminder of his purpose. He scanned faces, searching for any sign, a flicker of recognition, a telltale twitch of the hand, anything to lead him to the man who had destroyed his life, his Sarah. A knot of dread tightened in his stomach. What if he wasn't here? What if this was all for nothing? No, he banished the thought. He could feel it. Evil thrummed beneath the surface of this concert. Jake was here. He just had to find him. A hand clapped down on his shoulder. Michael spun around, adrenaline spiking. His hand instinctively went for the weapon. Whoa, easy there, man. A young man stood there, scruffy beard, bloodshot eyes, another face in the crowd. Didn't mean to startle you. Michael forced a smile, just trying to get a better view. His voice sounded strange, strained. The man chuckled. Right on. Enjoy the show, dude. He turned away, swallowed back into the throng. Michael leaned against a pillar, his heart hammered against his ribs. He pulled out his phone. The screen illuminated his face, showed the reflection of a haunted man. He opened the photo gallery. The image was grainy, captured from a security camera, but the face was unmistakable. Jake, the man who had taken everything from him. Where are you? Michael muttered. His eyes darted back and forth, from the photo to the crowd, trying to make sense of the chaos. A whisper, faint, barely audible above the music, but it cut through the noise like a shard of glass. Michael. He froze. His blood ran cold. That voice. He knew that voice. Sarah? He spun around, searching. But there was no one. Just the relentless press of bodies. The deafening music. Had he imagined it? No. He could feel her presence. A faint warmth in the cold pit of his despair. She was here, guiding him. He pushed through a door, a side entrance marked crew only. The music faded slightly. A new world, hidden behind the spectacle, unfolded before him. The air was thick with tension. Roadies hurried back and forth. Technicians fiddled with wires. A hive of activity, but beneath it a current of something darker, something sinister. He could feel Sarah's presence grow stronger. Her touch, a whisper against his mind. This way, Michael. He followed her guidance, weaving through the labyrinthine corridors. Each turn brought him closer to his target, closer to the man who had taken everything from him, closer to Jake. A raised platform overlooked the backstage area. Michael peered through the railing. Below, Jake directed the crew, barking orders, adjusting equipment. He blended in, a wolf in sheep's clothing. But Michael saw through the disguise, saw the monster lurking beneath the surface, saw the man who had ripped his life apart. Their eyes met, a split second, but it felt like an eternity. Recognition flickered in Jake's eyes. Then something colder, darker. Amusement? Challenge? A nearby speaker squealed. Feedback shrieked through the air. Jake looked away. The moment passed. Michael ducked back, his heart pounding. He had been seen. The hunt was on. He felt a chill. The air grew heavy, oppressive. Sarah's voice, laced with fear, echoed in his mind. Be careful, my love. Michael's grip tightened on the backpack strap. He knew. He had seen the look in Jake's eyes, the unnatural glint. This was more than just a man. This was something ancient, something evil. The music swelled, a distorted symphony of sound. The crowd roared its approval, oblivious to the true nature of the performance, oblivious to the darkness spreading through the arena. Michael took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation to come. He would face Jake. He would avenge Sarah. He would conduct the symphony of vengeance. The corridor ended in a cavernous chamber. Cables snaked across the floor, pulsing with an eerie, internal light. The air thrummed, not with the music of the concert, but with something ancient, something foul. Jake stood in the center, no longer the unassuming roadie. His form flickered, shifted, blackness bled outwards, twisting his features into a grotesque mockery of humanity. You're a fool to follow me. Jake's voice was a rasping growl. Your kind doesn't belong here. Michael felt a surge of anger. He gripped the microphone stand, its jagged edge digging into his palm. Where is she, Jake? A chilling smile spread across Jake's face. She's everywhere, and nowhere. You'll join her soon enough. The air crackled. Shadows coalesced around Jake, taking on monstrous forms. Their eyes glowed with an unholy light. They advanced, their movements jerky, unnatural. Michael fought back. He swung the microphone stand, connecting with a sickening crunch. One of the creatures shrieked and dissolved into shadow. But more took its place. He was outnumbered, outmatched. Despair threatened to consume him. Michael! Sarah's voice, strong and clear, cut through the chaos. The music! It's fueling them! He looked towards the stage. Cables, thicker than a man's arm, pulsed with energy. Jake's chanting grew louder, a rhythmic counterpoint to the concert's distorted symphony. Michael charged towards the stage, the creatures swarming around him. He dodged, weaved, each step fueled by desperation. He had to reach those cables, had to sever their connection to the ritual. He slammed into the stage, the impact jarring his bones. His fingers closed around one of the massive cables. It throbbed beneath his touch, a conduit for something monstrous. "Sarah, I need you." He strained, pulling with all his might. The world dissolved into light. He felt Sarah's presence wash over him, merging with his own. Their pain, their anger, their love, all blending into a single powerful entity. The cable snapped. A surge of energy erupted, throwing Michael back. He landed hard, the air knocked from his lungs. But the pain was insignificant. He could feel her. Sarah was with him, stronger than ever. He looked up. The stage was bathed in an otherworldly light. Golden and pure, it emanated from him, from Sarah, from the place where their souls intertwined. The creatures shrieked. They recoiled from the light, their forms dissolving like shadows burned away by the dawn. Jake roared in rage and despair. "No! You can't stop me! Symphox will rise!" But his words held no power, not anymore. The music faltered, the distorted symphony replaced by a single clear note, a note of hope, a note of love, a note that resonated with the very soul of the universe. Michael and Sarah, no longer separate beings but a single entity of pure energy, turned toward the swirling vortex, towards the monstrous form of Symphox, struggling to break free. They raised their hands, and they sang. Their voices, blended into one harmonious chorus, filled the arena. It was a song of defiance, a song of love that transcended death itself. Symphox shrieked, a sound that tore at the edges of sanity. The vortex pulsed, shrinking, collapsing in on itself. The song was too much for it to bear. The love, the hope, it was anathema to its very being. With a final, ear-splitting crack, Symphox was pulled back through the rift. The portal slammed shut, the air falling silent. The only sound was the echo of their song, fading like a whisper on the wind. Silence. The Thunderdome Arena, moments ago a cacophony of sound and chaos, held its breath. The air, thick with the stench of ozone and fear, began to settle. The remnants of the vortex, a faint shimmer in the air, winked out of existence. Michael, or what remained of him, stood on the stage. The golden light, once blinding in its intensity, flickered, faded. He felt Sarah receding, like a wave retreating from the shore, leaving behind the faintest whisper of warmth. He looked down at his hands. His own, hers? He could no longer tell. They trembled, the echoes of power draining away, leaving him cold, empty. A sob escaped his lips. Or maybe it was hers. The sound echoed in the vast emptiness of the arena, a single note of grief in the symphony of silence. The first rays of dawn pierced through the cracks in the arena walls, painting the chaos within in hues of gray and gold. Emergency vehicles surrounded the building, their lights flashing like fireflies in the growing light. Inside, the investigation was already underway. Confused, terrified survivors stumbled out into the arms of paramedics. Their stories, fragmented and unbelievable, painted a picture of something extraordinary, something terrifying. They spoke of a blinding light, of a song that seemed to mend their very souls, of a man, his face obscured by the radiance, who fought like a demon possessed. But there was no sign of the man, no trace of the creatures, just the lingering hum of power in the air, and the echo of a love story written in light that defied even death itself. The concert of shadows was over, but the memory of it, of the love that had triumphed over darkness, would resonate for generations to come. A reminder that even in the face of unimaginable horror, hope could bloom, and love, true love, would always find a way.